Yo guys, it's Captain Thorpe here, and today is the day that England play their semi-final match, and they'll be facing Croatia. What's the match is going to be for a place in the World Cup final? Are England going to do it? Well, later on in this episode of the World Cup KO show, I will be seeing if they will, and I'll be making my prediction. But before that, let's react to the France versus Belgium game where France made it through to the final. They are the first team, the other team that England will face if we manage to do it tonight. A huge game tonight, and it was a very big game yesterday too. I predicted that Belgium would win 2-1, but I was wrong. And France did score 1 goal, but they still won because they kept a clean sheet. And actually, I've noticed that in literally in this World Cup, I have written off France in every single round. Honestly, round 16 I thought Argentina would beat them. In the quarterfinals, I thought that they would lose to who did the third quarters? Uruguay. And then in the semis, I said they'd lose to Belgium, but they won all 3 games, all in 90 minutes as well. So I was wrong to keep writing them off, and maybe they will be really, really tough contenders in the final, facing England or Croatia. But how did they get through the game? Well, I think that France deserved to win it. They were very solid defensively. But Belgium weren't that good. Belgium did not play that well at all. However, if you were listening to the commentary, my word, this commentary got on my nerves. If you were listening to the commentary, Danny Murphy, then you'll be thinking, based on that, Belgium were probably 3 or 4-0 up. The amount that he was praising the Belgian players, I mean, and a couple of the French ones as well, but he just needs to take a break. Just have a day off. Just stop praising them so hard. Let's start with Kevin De Bruyne. He played, I remember, a 2-yard pass to Mertens, who sent in a lovely cross. And he praised De Bruyne for the patience. I'm not being funny, but he played a 2-yard pass that anyone could play. So don't praise him for that. You praise him for everything just because he's in the Premier League. I remember when he took a shot from 20 yards, he smashed it into Rosette. And he's like, well, we just remind us that he did score one very similar to that against Chelsea. Okay, fair enough, he did score that, but you don't need to remind us of that. When he blasts it over just from 20 yards, he blasts it into Rosette. You don't need to remind us of that. You don't need to keep defending him all the time. I don't know why he feels the need to keep defending the likes of Kevin De Bruyne. And not just him, it's pretty much anyone from the Premier League. Let's go with Hazard next. Oh, he goes on about Hazard as well. Honestly, I remember one of them where he did get fouled, but when they did it, from his commentary position, he can't have had that clear an angle, right? And then he's saying, like, how can that not be a foul? Well, how about a dive? It could easily have been a dive. Hazard's not the honest player you think he is. Remember him booting the ball boy in the ribs? Yeah, no one booted him in the ribs, did they? He could have dived on the floor. He's not as honest as you think he is. That's what I'm trying to say. So you don't need to stick up for the Premier League boys. You don't need to. It's beyond a joke at sometimes when they're just praising literally everything they do. It is going on about Belgium's creativity and intricate play. I quote. Literally. And you could tell full well that he wanted Belgium to win that game. Because when Giroud was subbed off and he was walking off at a leisurely pace, he was like, oh, come on, Giroud, with 5 minutes to go. Why are you so bothered? You're supposed to be a balanced commentator. You don't need to be supporting Belgium at all times like this. Oh, come on, Giroud. And then when the French players get fouled, especially Umtiti, I don't know what he's got against Umtiti. When Umtiti got the ball hit in the face and he fell over, it's like, oh, of course France are going to take every opportunity to dive around like this and all that. Just making them out to be the bad guys. No, they're not the bad guys. France played a very good game. Don't accuse them of parking the bus and trying to waste time, because they didn't particularly do either of those things. They wasted a little bit of time. You know, they were reasonably defensive in the second half, but they didn't park the bus. They didn't waste all the time in the world. It's just ridiculous. Stop sticking up for Belgium. That's literally all I'm trying to say. He said that Belgium didn't deserve to lose. Well, they did deserve to lose, and here's why. The manager, who got Wigan relegated, let's just remember, and he used to manage Everton as well, so he's not really had the best managerial career, but he's managing Belgium now, and he decided by the end he had 6 strikers on the pitch and 1 midfielder. Witsel was his only midfielder. Literally, he had De Bruyne, who's a very, very, very attacking player. He put on Carrasco. He put on Batshuayi. He had Hazard on. He had Lukaku on. He had Mertens on. He basically had 6 strikers, 1 midfielder, 3 defenders, and a keeper. That was literally the team. How you expect 6 goalkeepers, literally, just to be stood in front of the net with no service, with 1 player, Alex Witsel, trying to provide for all 6 of those? I don't see the logic behind it. You can't keep the ball with playing so many strikers and so few midfielders. You're going to get outrun in the midfield, and they were, by the end of the game when they just brought on more strikers. If you're desperate, you bring on creative-minded midfielders. You don't bring on more and more and more and more strikers. It's stupidity. It's absolute stupidity from Martinez. If I was the manager, I'd be bringing on attacking-minded midfielders that can play the ball to these strikers, and these strikers can be able to score. No more than 3 strikers on the pitch. You don't need 6. It's beyond a joke at times. Like, sometimes, some of the things he's done with his team, and he's been praised for all his brilliant decisions in the past. Well, why is no one slaughtering him over his bad decisions? Why does everyone seem to be sucking up to him all of a sudden? You know? He's not the best, he's not as good a manager as everyone makes out to be. Also, Danny Murphy was saying something like, oh, it was a set play that won it, but Belgium deserved to win. A set plays are so important. You can't just write it off as a set play. That was Fellaini's fault, and I think it was Vertonghen or Alderweireld, one of them two's fault, for not marking Umtiti properly. A brilliant header from Umtiti, and France deserved that goal. Because obviously Belgium were being lazy at the time, and then France worked it very well. They deserved that goal. So why are you saying, well, it was only a set piece, but it was a very good... No, you don't need to do that. The set pieces are so important. Almost half the goals in the World Cup have been due to set pieces. So he's sticking up for the Belgians for that again. But I'll tell you what, at the end of the game, Alex Witsel, he didn't look disappointed, to be honest. And I'm not surprised, as long as that paycheck's coming in, do you know what I mean? As long as he keeps getting his money, his wonga, he can just go back to the Chinese Super League and earn more millions, you know? Good luck to him, right? He's not in tears. He doesn't care. You know, his team has been 1 game off the World Cup final. To be honest, often the semi-final is the worst time to get kicked out. Right? He's been kicked out at that stage, and he just doesn't care. He walks off the pitch unscathed. And he's just, as long as the money keeps rolling in. That's the problem with these Belgian lot. They're either cocky or they're money grabbers. This is literally the state of them. The vast majority of them, in my opinion, the vast majority of that starting 11 are either money grabbers or cocky, right? And feel free to disagree with me in the comments down below. Griezmann played pretty well in that match, in my opinion. He got into some decent positions when France had the ball going forward, but... when he scuffed a shot wide, Danny Murphy, I keep going on about Danny Murphy, but he said that he was lazy. Lazy? That wasn't a lazy shot at all. That was just a bit unlucky. And literally a direct comparison. Can I just make a direct comparison to Paul Pogba? He said that Paul Pogba was second to none. And those who think he's lazy are wrong. No, Pogba, what has he done this World Cup? He's not scored. Oh no, he scored 1 goal against Australia. I don't know if he's got any assists. But he's not played that well. He has not played that well at all. And you're still finding a way to praise him. How? You're saying he didn't look lazy. He was second to none on the pitch. How about Kante? Kante's running around. No one's caring about him. I remember last season I was getting mad that people were going too mad about him. But now, all of a sudden, no one seems to care about his job anymore. He's so important to that team. And you're praising Pogba over him. Get a life. Come on, man. Just don't praise Pogba so much. It honestly just gets on my nerves. And then, if we go back into the studio, Ferdinand, Pogba has proved his price tag. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Pogba has not proved his price tag. What has he done? What has he done? Kante's won the ball back, giving it to him, and he's just offloaded it to Mbappe or Griezmann. He's not done anything special. He's not a special player. I don't know why people go on and on about how wonderful Pogba is, how wonderful he could be in the future, how wonderful he's been in the past. He's not. He's just not good. Why are we thinking, how do we get the best out of it? Maybe you're getting the best out of it. Maybe he's just not good enough. Maybe that's the case. Right? Why does no one actually think that that's a possibility? Maybe he's just not that good. Why does everyone think that he's the best player in the world that just isn't quite performing to the level we know he's capable of? We don't know he's capable of that level. Maybe he is when Pirlo's next to him, but you're not going to get a player like that these days. Especially at United and maybe even France. Right. Also in the studio, Shearer actually gave Umtiti and Kante some credit. Thank you. Thank you, Alan Shearer. Much better pundit than a lot of these guys. But then Gary Lineker had to make that comment, didn't he? Oh, in my experience, Kante is like having 2 players on the pitch. How many times have I heard that? Okay, Kante, he played very, very well. You know, he's a very, very good player. But you don't need to keep rubbing in how he's like 2 players on the pitch. We get it. I've heard that about 3 billion times. Okay, he covers a lot of ground. So does Jordan Henderson, but you don't say that about him. Do you know what I mean? You don't need to keep going on and on about how he plays like 2 players on the pitch. We've heard enough of that. We've heard enough of that. And this might sound a bit a bit like I'm contradicting myself now, because I'm saying that Gary Lineker is going on about how he's like 2 players on the pitch and Danny Murphy's not going on about him at all. But I want the balance. I want a balanced commentary that doesn't suck off him too hard, but also is in a position where you are giving him some credit for what he does. That's honestly what I think. I think you should be given a balanced commentary, and it's important to me, honestly, because I get so wound up when we have some of this dodgy commentary. Right, just a word on Mbappe. Right, okay, Mbappe played very, very well last night. He did some nice little flicks and tricks. He was a great player. He always has been a great player, right? Well, I say always has been. He's not been on the scene for that long. But yeah, he's a great player. But why did, I'm going to say him again, Danny Murphy, say that he's definitely going to be the best player in the world? You can't say that. You can't say that. In the future, he's probably not. The chances of him being the best player in the world are so slim because he's not realising. You're not just comparing him against current players, you know, CR7, Ronaldo, Messi, right? You're comparing him against them and thinking he's not as good. But then he's thinking, oh, when they retire, maybe he will be one of the best in the world. But then he's got the likes of Salah, likes of Harry Kane to contend with. And then, even then, he might not be the best player in the world. And then, even when he gets older still, you're not just comparing him to current players that play now. You're also comparing him to these newcomers that you have not even heard of yet. That they'll be coming onto the scene and they'll probably be challenging him and being better than him. Some more new players. So the chances of him being the best player in the world, it's possible. But they're so slim. It's so slim. So you shouldn't be saying that kind of thing. So definitely. But when it was time wasting at the end, now this is what got me. It was literally time wasting. And then Danny Murphy said, well, it's got to do something wrong. No. You don't have to do something wrong. You can actually play by the rules. You don't need to throw the ball away when it's Belgium's throwing. And to be fair, the French team didn't do that much time wasting overall. But I mean, that just wasn't a nice touch from Mbappe. And you can't defend him over that. He knew what he was doing. You know, yellow card and he deserves it. Don't say, oh, well, he kind of deserves that or something. No, you just don't need to say that kind of thing. You don't need to say he had to do something wrong. He didn't have to do something wrong. If he was as good as he's saying he is, he didn't have to do something wrong. Right, anyway, 1-0 to France, and that was deserved in my opinion. I know it's a long-winded way of saying it, and it's turned into a bit of a rant, but I'm not bothered. I'm not a massive fan of either of these two teams. France and Belgium got such great squads on paper, but I hope that they go down, and England will be taking them down. And let's move on. So that Croatia versus England game tonight. What do I think the score is going to be? What am I going to predict? Well, Croatia are they're gonna flood the midfield, but they're tired. They've been through 2 penalty shootouts recently. We've only been through 1 and had a breeze against Sweden. And honestly, whether Croatia flood the midfield, keep possession, whatever they do, I think honestly our attack and our defence is good enough. Our defence is good enough to shut them out, and our attack is good enough to score goals past their defence. Their defence is good. Their midfield is even better. Their attack is okay. But we'll be able to keep them out. We'll be able to score goals. And in my prediction, I'm going to say 2-0 to England. It's honestly, for me, going to be a similar performance to the Sweden game. We're not going to be having as much possession as we did against Sweden, but we are going to dominate just like we did against Sweden. That's what the case is going to be, in my opinion. So I think that we are going to get a reasonably comfortable victory and a 2-0 win in 90 minutes. I'm not underestimating Croatia because I think that they're going to be tired. That's going to have an effect on the game. The likes of Modric and Rakitic, yeah, they're very creative. They go forward. They're great players. Of course, they're great players. But with the players around them, are they looking as sharp as they did earlier in the tournament in the group stage? No. Is the defence strong enough to keep out the likes of Harry Kane? No. I think we can do it. I honestly think we can do it. And it's not just Harry Kane. We've got threats coming from the back. We've got the likes of Kieran Trippier on the right and Ashley Young on the left. We've got the centre-backs coming forward from set pieces, and we are great at set pieces. So there's a lot of factors, but most of them are in our favour. And I honestly think we're going to do it. England are going to be in the World Cup final. We are going to take down France. Hopefully, we'll be able to do it. Let me know what you guys think is going to happen in the game tomorrow. How excited are you for the World Cup final? Oh my word, we will be devastated if we don't do it, but I think we will. Let's keep the positivity. I will catch you guys later in the next video. Potentially could be me reacting to England either making the World Cup final or going out. So stay tuned for that one. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a like on the video and I'll catch you guys later. Adios.